What you're about to hear is 100% true. These events happened to me. This is my eyewitness account. If you believe in what can't be explained, stay with me. When we are 16 years old, we expect the world to protect us. We expect our families to hold us, to be the wall between us and everything that wants to hurt us. We expect society to step in when we're falling. We expect someone, anyone, to catch us. But sometimes, that is not always the case. At 16, I had to leave my home, not because I wanted to, because I had to. The mental abuse, the physical abuse, different kinds of abuse I still don't have words for. The kind that doesn't leave bruises you can show anyone, just ones you carry quietly inside you for the rest of your life. I had to go because staying meant disappearing, so I left. And for a while, I was just a girl on the street. I remember what that feels like, walking neighborhoods after dark, begging strangers for help, wondering where my next meal was coming from. There is a particular kind of loneliness that only exists at the very bottom, when you are 16 years old and invisible, and the world moves around you like you are already a ghost. I know that loneliness. I found shelter eventually through an old church connected to a program for troubled youth, young people who had fallen through every crack that society had to offer. They let me in, and I was grateful in a way that doesn't have a proper word, just quietly, deeply grateful. The program was called Lifeline, and it was. For me, it really was. I got along with everybody there, the men's group, the women's group. I was the youngest person in the whole program. They called me the baby of Lifeline, and I wore that with pride. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I had people. Like if I disappeared, someone would notice. Someone would come looking. I didn't know yet how important that feeling was about to become. One day, the staff announced they were renovating our dormitory. Walls coming down, floors being redone, the whole building torn apart and put back together. They sent us out to find somewhere else to sleep for a few nights. Right across the street from our dormitory was the chapel. Two of them, actually. The large chapel for Sunday services, and the small chapel, more intimate, more worn around the edges, where we gathered during the week for our daily meetings. Me and 5 other girls chose the small chapel. We dragged our sleeping bags and bedding in, settled between the pews, and made ourselves as comfortable as you can on a hard floor in an old church. I remember looking up at the stained glass windows before I fell asleep. Even in the dark, they held colour, deep blues and reds and golds, catching the faintest light from the street outside. There was something beautiful about them, and something else. Something that felt like the walls were listening, but we were exhausted, and eventually, we slept. I had been drinking a lot of water that night, so sometime deep in the middle of it, my body woke me up. No choice in the matter. I looked at my phone, 2 o'clock in the morning. Around me, all 5 girls were still asleep. I could hear their breathing, slow, steady, completely unbothered. The chapel was dark and still, quiet in that particular way that old buildings get when everyone else is sleeping and you're the only one awake. I reached for my shoes. There's something automatic about that, isn't there? Middle of the night, you don't think. You just reach for your shoes, one foot in, then the other. And as I was lacing them up, something made me look up toward the far end of the chapel. I don't know what made me look. It wasn't a sound. It wasn't movement. It was something quieter than both of those things. Some ancient part of the nervous system that knows things before the brain catches up. I looked. At the far end of the aisle, silhouetted against the stained glass window. There was a shadow, not a person, not one of the girls getting up to use the bathroom. Something else, something that didn't move the way living things move, something that was simply there, in the way that darkness itself is simply there. It was tall, taller than it should have been, bald. Its shape was elongated in a way that didn't make sense for a human body, like something that had stretched itself into the silhouette of a person, but hadn't quite gotten the proportions right. My mind went immediately to Nosferatu, that old film. The creature with the long, impossible silhouette, the way it seems to seep into spaces rather than walk into them, that exact shape, that exact feeling. I told myself I was seeing things. I told myself it was the stained glass, the street light, shadows folding over each other in the dark to become something that looks like something it isn't. So I leaned forward, just slightly, just to get a clearer look. And it leaned forward too. My entire body stopped. Not out of choice, something deeper than choice. Some circuit that existed before language and thought just shut everything down, because it had moved when I moved, not like a coincidence, not like a reflection, deliberate, aware, like it was acknowledging that I could see it, like it had been waiting for exactly that moment. Slowly, very slowly, I began to take my shoes back off, never taking my eyes away from it, and as I removed each shoe, it straightened back up, mirroring me. I want you to sit with that for a moment, because that is where the real horror lives. Not in the shape of the thing, not in how tall it was or what it looked like. The horror was in the intelligence of it, the patience, the fact that it wasn't lunging at me, wasn't making a sound, wasn't doing anything that could be called threatening. It was just watching and reflecting me back to myself, like it had been watching for a very long time, and it was not in any hurry at all. I began to back away, one slow step at a time, toward my bedding. It did the same thing. When I finally reached my sleeping bag, I dropped to the floor, pulled the blanket completely over my head, and I shook. Not because it was cold, because every nerve in my body was telling me that what was standing at the end of that aisle was not supposed to exist in the world I knew. The other girls were still sleeping. Not one of them stirred. Whatever was in that room that night was only for me. I lay there in the dark and I prayed. God, please don't let this thing be real. You promised you would protect me from demons and monsters. I need you right now. Please. I am 16 years old, and I have nothing and nobody, and I need you to please, please, not let this be real. I waited. I breathed. I prayed until the words ran out. Then I lifted the blanket and looked. It was still there, and it was closer. Not by a little. It had moved, further down the aisle toward me, as if my prayer had not moved it in the slightest, only confirmed that I was still paying attention. I pulled the blanket back over my head and prayed harder. Dear Lord, please protect me. You promised you would protect your children. I am your child. I don't know what this thing is, but I know it is not from this world, and I know that you are bigger than it. Please help me, please. I looked again, closer, still patient, still silent, still just existing in that space, watching me the way something watches when it has nowhere else to be and all the time in the world. That is what psychological terror actually is. It is not the monster that lunges at you. It is the monster that doesn't need to. The thing that simply waits, because it knows that waiting is enough. that all it has to do is exist, and the knowing of it will do the rest. I covered my head one last time. That is the last thing I remember. The next morning, someone was shaking me awake. Sunlight was coming through those same stained glass windows, the blues and reds and golds now warm instead of cold. A staff member telling me to clear the chapel, get ready for church, hurry up. I sat up and looked at the aisle, empty, like nothing had ever been there. The 5 girls around me were packing up their things, talking, laughing, completely unbothered. Not one of them had seen anything. Not one of them had woken up in the night. Whatever had been in that room, it had been there for me and only me. To this day, I don't know what it was. I know what it wasn't. It wasn't a trick of the light. It wasn't a dream. I was fully awake. I felt the floor beneath my feet, the cold air on my skin, the weight of my shoes in my hands. What I do know is this: it was not of this world. And whatever it wanted that night, I'm not entirely sure it didn't take something from me. Not my life, not my body, but something quieter than that. Something I've never quite been able to name. Some nights, when it gets very dark and very still, I still wonder if it's watching. If these stories found you, maybe they were meant to. Like and subscribe for more. There are things I've seen that I haven't told you yet.